Well, hello, folks. Like the song says, don't pay the ransom. I escaped. Okay, I know I have been very lax. I've had some issues come up in the last few months, and hopefully some of those are taken care of, and I can get back on track. I'll kind of go into it a little bit toward the end of the video, because I know a lot of people aren't interested and may not even make it to the end of the video, and that's fine.
Don't believe anything this jerk says. He's just been lazy.
Oh, man. I thought I was rid of my evil twin. Well, if he shows up again, just ignore him. Sorry about that, folks. So I'll just start off where I ended up the last time. One thing I really want to make clear to everybody. When you're over in Thailand, their toilets are very different. We've discussed that a little bit about the bum guns. You also may run into some issues once in a while to where a toilet is hard to find. Keep your eyes open for signs. There'll be usually a little alleyway, a little cutout, and there'll be a sign, usually in English, that says toilet. Go into that alley, and usually there'll be a person there at the end that cleans the toilets, takes care of it, and collects the money for you going in there and doing your business. And it'll cost you a few baht, and it'll depend. You'll be a farang. It'll cost a little more than it would, if any, for a Thai person, but just get over it. Unless it's in a mall or something like that, it's more than likely going to be a Thai squat toilet. Just be aware of that. You're going to have to settle for what you get. My voice is very rough, and like I say, I'll go into that at the end of this video, so I apologize if I'm difficult to understand. That's one of the reasons I haven't done these videos. Okay, number 2, shoes. Wear a very comfortable pair of shoes. You're going to walk a lot more than what you would in a big city in the U.S. or in the U.K. or whatever. And more than likely, you're going to be spending a lot of time on your feet. You want a comfortable pair of shoes. Flip-flops are not comfortable to me. I hate flip-flops. I never wear them. Maybe you're comfortable in them. Maybe you can walk 10 miles in a pair of flip-flops. I can't. And you are probably not going to be walking 10 miles, but possible. But you still want a very comfortable pair of shoes. So be aware of that as well. Number 3, electric wiring and adapters. Thailand is a 2-wire electric wire system country. It can be very dangerous. You have the hot wire and you have the neutral wire, and that is it. So you need to understand, don't touch wires. You may think that's a little odd. You may be from a country that either has underground wires or has overhead wires. The overhead wire is usually 20-30 feet above your head. In Thailand, that's not true. The wires are right down easily at head level for most springs and a lot of ties. Be very aware of that. I was with Simon at the Bridge over the River Kwai in Kanchanaburi. I'm not sure the way you spell it or pronounce it. And he came by and kind of tugged me away at one point. And that's when he pointed up and said, your head was almost touching those wires. They are insulated, but a lot of them are old wires. Cracked insulation, broken insulation, no insulation. Just be very aware of where the wires are when you're out walking around, or anywhere. Walking around, inside, outside, doesn't matter. Be very aware of it and avoid getting too close to them. They will be very dangerous for you. Also, while you're there, you're going to need adapters more than likely for all your electrical equipment. A lot of things you just don't want to mess with trying to adapt your American or whatever country you're from. In Thailand, it is 220 volts and 50 cycles. and that's considerably different than it is in the U.S. where it's 120 and 60 cycles. Most things like your computer, the brick will say on it, generally 110 to 240, 50 to 60 cycles, so you're all right there. But you still need an adapter that will adapt what your plug is to a Thailand plug. A Thailand plug has 2 round connectors on it. You're going to need adapters for it. You can buy them there. That's not a problem. But just be aware, if you want to charge your cell phone or your laptop or whatever, you're going to need an adapter. If you want to try to take over your hair dryer, things like that, most of the time they're not designed for switching over even with adapters. They make fairly expensive adapters for that, but you probably don't want to do that. Either buy one there, buy you a hair dryer or whatever it is you're using, buy it there. A lot of hotels have hair dryers, but don't try to take yours and think you can just plug an adapter into it, plug it in. You're going to generate some blue smoke or some sparks, so don't do it. Number 4, you've heard it over and over and over, I'm sure. Ringing the bell. In many bars, go-go bars, beer bars, whatever, they'll have a bell up there. No matter how drunk you get, don't go over and ring that bell. That bell generally means that if you ring it, you buy everybody in that place a drink, and you're committed. You can't say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ring that. That doesn't work. They will call the police if you ring the bell and don't pay for it. Now, a lot of bars, the bigger bars, they've changed. They might have a 1,000 baht limit or whatever. That's $30. Some other bars may say all you're going to have to do is buy all of the girls a drink. Well, that may be a hell of a lot of them too. Or watch out, because especially in the open bars, a lot of times there'll be people outside, and as soon as they hear that bell ring, they jump over to that bar where you rang the bell, and you think you're buying a drink for 5 people, and all of a sudden they say, no, there's 5 people sitting out there on the tables at the street. You got to buy them drinks too. It ain't fair. Don't expect it to be fair. It's the way it is. Just use some common sense. Don't ring that bell, no matter what. That pretty much ends my Thailand advice as far as what to do to prepare yourself to go to Thailand, or things you might run into as a person who's never been there before like I was, and that pretty well takes care of it. The next video I do will add some things about what to do before you leave and what to do after you get back to your home. But this is pretty much the end of the advice. There's only a certain amount of things that, as a newbie, I can tell you. And I don't want to get into areas like visas and all the things that change constantly and really should be handled by people who have been there multiple times or who live there now and like that. I don't want to step outside the newbie part of this. So that's going to pretty much end the tips, but I will put out at least one more video, maybe 2, that have to do with the experience of a person who may be going to Thailand for the first time. So that can kind of end that if that's all you're interested in, and the rest of this video is going to be with a few explanations. And I appreciate you listening to this far. If you want to hear a little bit more that's going to have to do with me, keep listening. Okay, I haven't put out a video, I don't believe, since December, maybe early January. I'm not real sure. I'd have to look it up, and I haven't. And I've got some reasons for not doing that. Number 1, I did intend to take a break during the holidays. Number 2 is a little difficult to explain. Ultimately, I'm going to split this channel. Instead of just being one, I'm going to have playlists. One of them is going to be a playlist that will involve Thailand. The other channel or channels will be different subjects. One of them will be on the subject of depression. And I know if y'all have watched the video that Jonny made of me while I was over there and Simon made of me, y'all know a little bit about my past. and my past does involve depression, and pretty severe depression. It kind of hits me around the holidays the worst. And this year, it didn't just hit me during the holidays from November, December. It hit me even after the holidays. And it was just difficult when I would sit down and try to make my last video or two. I just put it off. I just thought, not right now. I'm not ready for this. If y'all hear any of the coughing, I'll get to that in a second. I'll try to edit most of it out. But the depression knocked me down pretty good for a couple of months after 2019 started. And about the time I was starting to get a little bit over it, I came down with swine flu. I have not had the flu in 20 years at least. I've had colds, I've had other things, but never the flu, where I actually ran a temperature and really got sick. I had to go to the doctor. Because of my age, he went ahead and gave me the Tamiflu, even though it'd been 3 days since I probably got it. And that helped a little bit, I guess, it seemed to anyway, but coughing just was continual. All the time coughing. So I went back to the doctor, and he prescribed a steroid pack for me, like a Z-pack. And I took that, and it helped some. I still haven't completely got over the coughing. I was down with the flu for 5 weeks, and I mean down. I didn't go out. I didn't want to get around anybody that possibly I could give it to, and I just stayed where I was and slowly got over it, except for the cough. And of course, I'm a smoker. I'm sure you all know that. And that doesn't help any. And it's something that I do need to quit. And I know it. Don't nag me about smoking. Everybody nags me about smoking. And I know that I should not smoke. Plain and simple. All there is to it. So that's the two main things that have kept me from making videos. I want to thank everybody that has stayed with the channel, that hasn't unsubscribed. I've had a few people unsubscribe, and I totally understand that. If you're subscribed to a channel and they're not putting out any content, then, you have a tendency to want to unsubscribe. But this week, I hit 400 subscribers. When I started this making videos, I had 75 subscribers, which I didn't even realize until I started thinking about actually doing content on the channel. And I just had a lot of people that subscribed because they knew me and they subscribed to my channel, even though there wasn't any content. But since then, there have been another 325 people as of, I believe it was Tuesday of last week. I hit 400. And since Tuesday, I've hit another 28, I believe, 25 or 28. And I cannot thank everybody enough for that. When I started this channel, I would have been tickled pink if I had hit 100 subscribers. That would have been 5 more than I already had. I would have thought that was a mind blower. 400 is just 425, 28. Is just beyond my comprehension. So I want to thank you for that and let you know how much I appreciate it. And I'm going to be trying to make some content that some of you will enjoy. Maybe all of you won't. Maybe all of you will. I don't know. But I just wanted to thank each and every one of you. It's been extraordinary to me. In that time and with all those views, I have had exactly 2 trolls. One of them said, "What in the hell do you think you can do to advise people about going to Thailand since you've only been there one time, blah, blah, blah," and on and on. And I wrote on there, I said, because I'm doing a channel about first-time visit to Thailand, and I am qualified for that. I'm not qualified for telling you how to retire there or anything else. I never intended to be. I've told you from the start. Take everything I have to say with a grain of salt, because this is my experience at being a newbie in Thailand. It may not be yours. And I've tried from day one to let you know that. And I certainly hope that you have taken everything I said with a grain of salt. And I take that back 3 trolls. The second one just made a rude comment about any man going to Thailand, and I deleted it. The third one was a really ugly one from a person who is trying to put themselves off as another Thailand blogger. He's not him, but he tries to make people think he is. And he made a rude comment about Mark. Not about me, about Mark, and I deleted it immediately, and I blocked him from my channel. I have no intentions of putting up with that. But anyway, so I'm just thrilled to death with what all you've done for me, and I want you to know how much I appreciate it. And I will call it quits for now, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have another 1 or 2 videos. Thanks for listening. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the bell if you want to know. Now hit the bell here, that's okay, just not in Thailand. Click the bell if you want to know when I put out new content. Share it with other people if you think they'd get anything out of it. But thank you all for everything, and hopefully you will hear from me again in the next week or so. Bye-bye.